Monday morning, everybody. Happy October to everybody. Hope everybody's here is having a wonderful day. I am Antoine, and we are back again with Morning in Twanman's Den. This guest today, she is incredible. She is an amazing streamer. She has a great personality, a great smile, and she's a really great dancer. She's just amazing. So let's give it up for Miss Sophie Slaughter. Miss Sophie, how are you this morning?
Yeah, not too bad. It's more evening for me, so I'm
Oh, that's
tired
right.
after
It's
being at
UK.
work.
It's UK. That's right. Yes, I gotta get used to that. I gotta get
The
used to
time
the
difference.
the time difference. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day and a busy week to be here on this a wonderful morning. Happy October to you.
All right,
Um,
you're welcome.
so tell me, Sophie. How long have you been streaming for? How long have you been on the Twitch platform for?
Uh, oh gosh, I think it was probably February that I may have started. I think it was I'm pretty sure it's February. Um, I started because a friend of mine was streaming, and I was like, oh, I'll give it a go. It's a chance to meet some friends. I have a gaming laptop. It's not particularly a great one, but it was still a laptop. Well, it is still a laptop. Um, and I basically pulled up all of my savings and bought a desk, a keyboard, and an extra monitor, an arm to like put my screen on and stuff, capture card and everything, and just kind of set it up from there. So yeah, around February time, I got everything all together.
Nice. That is awesome. And it's really, I find it really cool. A lot of people, who I've interviewed with, a lot of streamers who I've met, about, between August and February is about when a lot of us have started streaming. So I think that's, really cool. We all kind of started around the same time frame. Now, when we go into a Sophie stream, what can we expect? What can people expect to see in the streams? What games can we expect Miss Sophie to be playing?
Well, I mean, I used to have kind of more of a schedule where I'd do like Terrifying Tuesdays, where I'd play things like Resident Evil 2, just because that's one of my like all-time favorite games. That was the remake as well. I'm just looking down at the games I've got. I've got a little kind of stack of games down here. Like so here I've always said I've got Resident Evil Village that's for the PS5, but I have
Ooh,
my PS5 is downstairs, so I have to bring that up and put it up here if I want to do it because I use my capture card. Um, I've got Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3.
ooh.
I do have Borderlands 3 here, but I haven't actually played that on stream. It's just been sat there, and then Overwatch
Ah,
because
yes, Overwatch. That's
I do
awesome.
really like Overwatch. But then I also play like complete opposite type of games, um, where it'll be things like Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing, and Genshin Impact, which I've like become completely consumed by recently. I occasionally play Hearthstone. Just if I'm feeling, I just want to sit down and chill. I'll just put Hearthstone on because I enjoy card games. I like Magic the Gathering. I've got like Magic the Gathering tattoos,
Ooh,
literally
look
all
at
up my
that.
arm.
Oh, that's so cool. Look at that. That's so awesome. Magic's a
um,
really, really fun game to play.
I've got well, me and my partner have got thousands. I mean, thousands and thousands of Magic cards. Like I've got a purpose-built coffee table that is full of Magic cards, and I have a storage like stool that's just full of Magic cards and Pokemon cards as well. There's lots of Pokemon cards. That's another
Ah,
game I do occasionally play. I've got Pokemon Snap. Um, so yeah, I play Pokemon games, Zelda games, Breath of the Wild. I'm thinking of all the games I've got downstairs that I've played. I just can't think. Diablo. So I really enjoyed Diablo. That's good fun.
that's
As
awesome.
obviously you can tell, lots of Pokemon.
I love the
So
Pokemon in the background. Heck
I
yeah.
mean, it's because I'm just obsessed with Ditto. So I've got a Ditto up there as well, and then I've got a Ditto hanging just there on a Rotom.
That's so cool. I love it.
Even up there is just like full. I've got Pikachus and stuff up there. I've got one in what's it? It's not a Alolan. Is it a Alolan? Alolan Vulpix, where it's like the icy one. I've got Snorlax up there. I've got my little Team Rocket Pikachu.
Oh, that's adorable. Look at that.
I mean, if you think that's adorable, I've got a little like a Team Magma one as well.
Oh, look at that. That is so cool. Oh my
I keep
goodness.
I keep the tags on as well. I have a bit of a thing about keeping tags on like cuddly
I
toys.
you know what? I do the same thing. I have
I just
the I
use that.
that's so no, I totally get the tags like the um we have Disney stores down here
Yeah.
and I have the Fantasia Mickey and I always keep the tags and everything cuz you never know.
Yeah,
You never know.
I just want to keep them on there because I'm like it increases its value.
Increases the
Keep
value and it gives it more I want to say
it
more
feels like more of a feels like more of a collectible to me.
it does. I absolutely agree with that. That's so cool. Now, one of the games you had mentioned was Stardew Valley. Have you ever played any of the Harvest Moon games back in the day?
No, I haven't actually, but I know a lot of people that do play them. And I've seen gameplay and things of them. But I do really enjoy Stardew Valley. However, I struggle to play it by myself because I just can't find the time to do everything. So I have my partner plays it with me because we've both got a Switch, and that's the platform I play it on. So I have my farm hands. I do have people that come in and help me. They'll do all of the necessary things, where it means I can just go and run around and smash things up in the mines,
Heck yeah. That's
or
so
like
awesome.
go and try and stuff pizza into Sam because Sam is my relationship of choice every time. I'm just like, Sam, you look like a Dragon Ball Z character. You play video games and you try and do a kickflip. I want you.
That's so cool. I like that. I love I love it. Being a variety streamer, I think that's very unique because as viewers, a lot of viewers out there, they you know s- y- sometimes viewers, they like to see the variety and everything. Me personally, I like to see variety in streamers. I think that's really cool. Um, I think
It can
sometimes
make it harder.
it can. For me though, like for a viewer, like I like seeing variety, like what's out there because, for example, Stardew Valley. When I started seeing that gameplay and everything, I'm like, that reminds me so much of Harvest Moon, and I grew up, playing Harvest Moon, and it is so much like Harvest Moon, except it's more of a, seems like an open world. You can play with different people and everything, which is really cool. Um, so I
I think
think
the guy was inspired by Harvest Moon because it's Stardew's made by one person.
oh man, he must have played a lot of Harvest Moon. He did a good job on that game. I love
Yeah,
it.
the soundtrack and everything. He made the whole thing himself.
That's brilliant.
And then put the soundtrack on Spotify as well, and was just like, oh yeah, everyone will love it, and they did, which is it's I can't believe how popular it is.
That's so cool. That's really brilliant. What are the times that you stream, Sophie? Like when can we expect you to?
So I don't have like a set schedule just because of like I work Monday to Friday. I work 8 a.m. um GMT, so Greenwich Mean Time, British Standard Time, until 4:30, and then I come home. I'll cook dinner or organize some sort of food, and then I realize I'm like, oh, it's like 7 o'clock now. I'm really tired, and I end up not being able to do it so much during the week. But if I do stream, I try and make it so it's an accessible time for people. So it'll usually be between kind of I'd say 6 and like 7:30 in British Standard Time. And then on a Sunday or like a weekend, I'll do them slightly earlier. So Sundays I'll usually do around 3 p.m. And then a Saturday I'll look at maybe 5 because I'll try and do a few more hours. Like at the
Yes,
weekday I'll get 2.5 hours if I'm doing it during the week. But on a Saturday I'll try and go for 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours. And on a Sunday I'll try and do 3 to 4 hours as well.
that's awesome. That is awesome. Um, as a streamer, um, what is what is one of your favorite? What is you one of your favorite things? Um, as a streamer, like what do you absolutely love about the idea of streaming, being on Twitch?
Think probably since I've been younger, I like to talk a lot, and it's been a trait of mine for years. I can drone on and on and on. Um, and with COVID hitting so drastically over the last kind of year, obviously when I started streaming was the kind of height of it really. So a lot of people were furloughed, they were at home, they couldn't get out, they couldn't see their friends. And I thought, oh, Twitch is going to be a way for me to make some new friends, to see other people, and to interact with other people. So I think probably like I enjoy the social aspect of it, and I love being able to be on camera and have people see all my stuff and be able to pull silly faces and, do silly voices. Everyone likes my redemptions for accents and things like that, or, the dance time one where I just go crazy. Everybody loves those.
I love the dance. I love the dance time.
It's
I
because it's a Simpsons thing for me. It's every time that song is a Simpsons reference for me.
oh man, you cannot go wrong with the Simpsons. Let me tell you. Um, that's really cool. You have the times I've been, into your stream, you're very personable. Like I said, you got a great smile. I love the dance time one. Um, you always make your streams, very positive. Um,
Yeah,
wh-
yeah, I do try for that.
which is, now in your, in your definition, what would your own definition of positivity be?
Don't know how to explain it really. Um, I mean, even if I'm not feeling so positive, if I'm feeling low or a bit unwell or something, I try and make sure I'm smiling and, high eyebrows and just, kind of like that. Because when people see other people being or looking positive, it makes them feel better. Um and I'd say being positive is being friendly as well, acknowledging that people are here. If somebody asks a question, answer that question. Um, I try and get as many people involved as possible. If I'm playing a game that's multiplayer, I have no problem with other people joining. I'm just like, yeah, sure, join. I played Animal Crossing the other day, and there were 4 of us on my island in total. So there was my partner on there, my friend from Scotland, and one of my friends from the States, and we were all on my island running around, jumping off the pier into the water. And it's just like that's just doing something silly. It's just doing something fun. But yeah, I'd say like positivity is just being nice. People are aware that I do swear on my streams. I do put 18 plus at the front of it, just so they're aware that there will be language and stuff used. But I ask that people keep it civil. I don't condone anyone using any hateful language or
Right.
like anything overtly sexual, anything that's like, and no racism, anything anti-LGBTQ. I'm not happy with. I want everyone and anyone to feel comfortable being in my streams and watching me. I want them to be able to interact with the other people that are in my chat and to make more friends.
That's
So I
awesome.
think it is a I think as well the color. I find that my purple it's a pale purple, but it's a nice and it's a warming color, and I think it's a welcoming thing as well.
It really is. And a lot of people, may not think about it. Me personally is someone, if I watch a stream, if I see somebody, who's got, like the background or like the hair color and everything, for me that's warm, that's welcoming, and that, it sets off, the tone like this, this is relaxed and it's gonna be chill. And um, it's I think it definitely adds on to, the positivity and, how you set the tone, for streaming.
Yeah.
Um, I think
I have
setting.
different colors for different games too. If I'm playing something scary, like I have a little thing here. So if I have something scary, if it would let me change the color. No, that's yellow. That's green. No, it's
Ooh,
because all my colors are mixed up. They're all mixed up. I can't seem to get it right. No, there it is. So like if I'm playing like Resident Evil, I'll go for more red.
that's so
Um,
cool.
like if sometimes if I'm doing so like Stardew, I might go for this sort of kind of greeny color, and then I have blue occasionally if I'm like playing Overwatch or something. But I tend to stick with the purpley sort of color. I can
Nice.
have it so they do change. Oh no, that's the strobe one. I don't like that. I occasionally have this where it just fades in between the colors. But I think that kind of wreaks too much havoc on my face. It makes my face look funny.
I love it. I think it's great. And I'm looking all around your background. I think that's really cool. And for someone that's coming in, a lot of people may not realize it, but the background makes a whole difference. And
Yeah.
it sets the mood, it sets the tone, it sets what as a viewer, what am I gonna get into. uh, you've got a very welcoming tone. You got a very welcoming community. um, you're just very relaxed, and it's always amazing to sit there and like I said, I love the smile and love the dancing. I think that's awesome.
What
Now,
kind of
yeah, we're gonna dance in here. Now I'm starting to dance. I love it. I love it. Um, Now we're gonna get into some different topics here here in a few minutes. We're gonna talk about a little bit of mental health things, um, some personal stuff. You've been going through. But one thing I would do want to cover. Um, I'm sure some people may have questions. Are this? So when I see your streams, I notice you are on Team EXO, which for a lot of people, we all know, that's the famous, Chloe. Uh, what is a stream team? What qualifications, um, you know, did you have to do to get on a stream team? And what's, can you kind of give us more insights, what a stream team is and how that works and how you were able to get on Team Chloe?
yeah. So basically, partners are allowed to make a team, and then that team has like its own little separate page with the list of members. Um, Obviously, which one's alive, how many people are viewing, and then the one with I don't know if they can change it, but it for me it always seems to be with the one with the most views is the one that's the at the top and that is on the screen. Um, so like if you were to click the EXO link in my about section, it would take you to that page. But basically, when she made partner, she was like, "Oh, I want to make a stream team. I want to do this. I want to make Team EXO," and everyone was ridiculously enthusiastic about it. She made a little application form, and she was like, "You don't need to put too much information in here. Just answer the questions as best as you can." It was like, "How often do you stream? Like, how many sort of followers and things have you got? How long have you been streaming? What sort of?" I said, I don't know if I just said what sort of things do you stream. So it was like, what games? How long have you been following Chloe for? Just kind of like what do you want to get out of this? And like what do you think you contribute? So it was just general little questions like that. And with the first time around, I was just like, oh yes, I'm gonna jump at this chance. This is, something completely new. I don't know anything really about it, but I'll give it a go because I'd love to be a part of a team with a partner. I was like, this is a partner, this is gonna help me. Um, this is somebody that has a lot of influence among the streaming community. So I was really like, oh, this is a great opportunity to be a part of something much bigger than I am. So that was why I applied. And then when she was on stream, when she was reading out the people that had got in, she said my name, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I've made it. I couldn't believe it. And there were a lot of people that were upset. Um, I believe she had some messages from people that were not happy that they hadn't made the cut, which is if they're sending messages like that, that's probably not a good sign.
No,
Um,
that's a big form of being toxic right there. If you just
yeah, and
that's
then she's done it again. She's had a second time around. She's had a second lot of applications, and I think she's. I'm not sure how many people are actually on the team. If I can get my phone, I'll find out how many people are on the team. I believe the last time I checked, it was like 80. So there's quite a lot of people.
there's quite a bit.
Um, I'll just check. I'm terrible at pre-planning.
You're okay.
There's 104 members of the team.
Oh wow, that's quite a.
104, and the top person at the moment has 39 viewers, and it puts straight on, so it goes like straight on to their
Oh
stream.
okay.
But it shows me who's live, how many are viewing them, and it's just kind of I'm not sure what order it's in. I think it's just of order of when people join.
Oh okay.
Um, but you can when you go onto like your creator dashboard, it will and when it says like your brand content, it's right at the bottom. You can choose to auto host people from the team. So people that are live, you can choose to either do it in order or you can have it random. So it'll randomly pick somebody from from the team to put as auto host. But I have my select list of my mods and my favorite my best friends and things like that. My favorites from my community are on my auto host list.
Nice.
So I've left it with that for the moment. I did have the team originally auto hosted, but I felt that it was it was taking a lot away from my own community, and I wanted my friends and the ones that I cared greatly about to had to be the ones that I would host first and then move over to the team members.
Nice. It's that's always such a such a great thing. It's um to be in a stream team. I think they're very unique. Congratulations on getting on Team Chloe. That's exciting. But it's always good going back to your friends and community. And I think once in a while I you know I yeah, I'm a very observant guy, and I do it in the dark very well. I do it in the dark very well, and I see some people they get onto these stream teams, and sometimes they do forget about their community, the ones who've been there since day one. So I think that's very unique and that's very special. That you put your community, your friends, and everything first, and then um, work on the stream team. So I think that's very cool, and I think that's for me personally, that's very inspiring because your community, is what makes you.
Yeah, yeah,
Your friends and everybody who keep coming back, all the time. They're the ones that are a big part of that community. So I think that's a very special thing to always continue to support
mm.
that. So
I
that's
mean,
really cool.
I go into the team streams and things like that because they pop up. I follow them, so they pop up on my things, and I'm like, oh, who do I fancy watching today? And I'll go in, and I sometimes a lot of the time when I'm at work, it's just I'll just be lurking, so I'll just go on there and I'll have a quick look and I'll see what they're doing. I'll put up a few emotes and be like, I'm just working and lurking, and I'll just kind of hide and leave it. Um, but then if I have it on my phone and stuff, I'll just, I occasionally sit and watch and see what they're up to. I'll say hi and stuff like that. So I do. I hop in and I hop in. I've got a lot of people that I'm currently trying to support. So it's quite hard to make a good balance of it, really.
Hey, it definitely can be. It definitely can be, and sometimes it gets sometimes it's hard. When you have a lot of friends and everything, and you're trying to juggle work and everything around, which is absolutely perfect because that's I'm glad we mentioned work because that's kind of the next topic we're going to move right into is what does Sophie do outside? What do you do for work outside of stream?
So I work for the NHS, which is the National Health Service in the UK. Um, I work at a doctor's practice. Um, and I speak to patients on the phone every day. I do a lot of appointment booking. I do a lot of I used to do more like issuing of repeat medication. So I would be sorting out patients' meds every day. I would be dealing with medication queries, um, making sure that their prescriptions were delivered to the right place, or sent to the right pharmacy and things like that. But at the moment, I've been doing a lot of just mainly answering the phones, speaking to patients, making sure their appointments are booked correctly and with the right people. I've been training to do more kind of IT support, to help out because there's only one guy that does a lot of the IT support. So I've been trying to help him. I was looking at moving to a different job to be what we call a social prescriber, which is someone that works for, we call it the PCN, and that's like a network of practices in a certain area.
Oh,
And
okay.
a social prescriber is somebody that basically points people in the right direction for additional services. So if people are feeling depressed or have problems at home, they can speak to the social prescribers who can look at outside services that might be able to help them. Um, Local charities and things like that, they might be able to find like food banks and things for them, and they'll just offer their help where they can. They'll either go and visit them and stuff like that. But I was looking to try and do that, but unfortunately, somebody else got the job, so I was a little
Oh,
bit saddened by that. But I've recently been offered another job. Literally today, I've been offered a job.
oh,
Um,
nice.
Working in a care home that specializes in dementia care as an activities and well-being coordinator. So basically, I would be organizing activities and events, and things like that to literally every day. I have to make sure that every day would have the residents of this care home would have something fun to do. They have like a spa, they have like a coffee shop area, they have a gentleman's club where they have like an old-fashioned bar looking area, and they just try and cater for everybody. So I literally had my interview yesterday, and they said some days it might be, you just take an old lady in a wheelchair out into town so she can go and pick something up. Then other days, you could be in the middle of a room where there's a guy singing and there's a load of people sat around with dementia who are trying to enjoy themselves. Some of them are a little bit uneasy, some of them could be more scared, some of them might be fidgety, and they were just like, you'd have to be dealing with stuff like that. And I was like, I think I could probably do it. I'm quite enthusiastic. I like planning events. I like raising money for charity. I like doing all sorts of stuff like that. I like art. I said like I'm an artist as well in my spare time, so is my partner. So I said I could do lots of art activities for him. I said we could, put an item in the middle of the room and give everyone a sheet of paper and say choose whatever medium you want. Do you want crayons? Do you want paint, charcoal, pencil, pen? And draw that item how you see that item, and then you look at the different ones and you can, it's just making, because people say that people get put in care homes to die, and they were like, people don't get put in care homes for that, they get put in care homes to live. They want to be comfortable there, and it's a chance for them to spend however much time they have really living their life and doing things that they would enjoy and being as comfortable and as happy as possible. So I was like, that seems like a pretty good opportunity. So I'm probably going to move over to that from what I'm doing at the moment.
That is so awesome. So awesome. So that is really, really, that's amazing. I think personally come from experience, I grew up with my great grandparents, so I'm very familiar with the living homes that, and people do, and you're absolutely right. People think, oh, they're just gonna go there, you know, they're gonna pass right away. No, no, they're just there to live, and they're there to enjoy the remainder of their wonderful lives.
Yeah.
So I think that that sounds like a very rewarding opportunity, and that's I think you have, amazing knowledge, and I think you would do very well. So that's so awesome. Um, to be able to have an opportunity like that. Uh,
I've had all the professionals I work with, like the nurses and the doctors. I had them tell me that I should be a mental health nurse. They were all like, "Oh, maybe you should try and be a healthcare assistant and then move on to be in like the mental health field." So I've had loads of them say things like that. And then another one of my colleagues said about the particular role that I was looking for. She was like, "Oh, you would be fantastic in that." She was like, "You're so enthusiastic about being creative and having fun and making the time that you've got better and just generally more fun." And she was like, "You would be so good in that role, so you should definitely apply for it." And so that's why I did. And yeah, I got that
nice.
email this morning saying yes, we'd love to offer you the job.
Yay! That's awesome. Good for you. Congratulations. You'll have to definitely, let us all know how that goes. And
Yeah, it might mean there'll be a change in my streaming thing as well because it's a 5 days on, 3 days off. So it means it'll be changing every week.
right.
So I'll have 3 days every week in which to stream. So
Nice.
I'll try and do that.
Well, if we can see your awesome personality and everything, that's really cool, though. Well, congratulations
Thank
on the
you.
new opportunity. You're welcome. Um, we talk about going into the uh, we talk about going into as a streamer, as streamers. I'd like to kind of get into the mental health thing, the mental health aspect of streaming, and um, one of the topics that I wanted to talk about was the first one is make sure I pronounce this right. Epilepsy, is that
Yeah. Yeah,
epilepsy?
epilepsy.
So what is epilepsy, and what is epilepsy?
Okay, so epilepsy is basically an increase. It's my brain produces too much electrical activity for it to be able to deal with. So if I have a buildup of that electrical activity in my brain, it would cause me to have a seizure. And I have there are loads of different types of seizures. You can have absent seizures where it's literally someone will just stare off into space and they're just gone for like 30 seconds to 3 or 4 minutes. There are ones where people just kind of shake a little bit. There'll be other ones where it's a little bit more than that. But I have tonic clonic grand mal seizures. So mine are full blown. I shake, I tense up, my eyes all roll back. I have them in the morning. I've never had one on camera or anything, but I just lose control of everything. Imagine every single muscle in your body is clenching and then releasing, clenching and releasing for about a period of between 2 to 4.5 minutes. Um, and your brain is just it has that much it just goes and then boom and it all explodes into one thing. I was diagnosed when I was 10. I went to a friend's birthday party and I fell off some monkey bars and I broke my wrist.
Oh
I
no.
didn't know I'd broken my wrist at this time, and I continued to go to this friend's house and spent the night there. And I was in such pain, like I was on my hands and knees and stuff, like we were playing games and things, and I was in such absolute agony. Um, but I just thought I've not broken it. They said you can move your fingers, you're fine, you've not broken it. But the next morning I had a seizure, and that was my first ever one, and it terrified all of the girls that were there. And to think we're all 10 years old, they've never seen anything like this. It must have been imagine something out of The Exorcist, really. The
Oh
whole,
no.
in the bed shaking like that. Like I make funny noises. I bite my tongue occasionally, so there'll be blood and stuff around. It's not a pleasant experience. I will become incontinent, so sometimes if I've not been to the toilet, I'll wet myself, and I just can't stop it. It's because all of my muscles are just going like crazy all at
Right.
once.
Now,
Um,
do they have a cure for epilepsy?
well, I say there's not really a cure. It depends what type of epilepsy you have. My epilepsy is generalized epilepsy, which means it's not a specific part of my brain that is causing me to have the seizures. Um, but if you have a specific type, so it could be a specific lobe or part of your brain that is causing them, people can have surgery. And I see the scars go from like here all the way around here, where
Right.
people have brain surgery and they take out the piece of the brain that's causing the seizures. And then they keep them on their medication and then they slowly reduce the amount of medication. And some people never have seizures again. But because of my type, it's likely I will never stop taking the medication that I am taking at the moment. I have it's called levetiracetam. That's one of my types of medication. I have that twice a day, and I also have clobazam, which is like related to diazepam and things like that. So it's like a tranquilizer. I have a very small dose of that. I have that in the evenings because over the last 2 years, I developed tremors in the middle of the night. So I would wake up and I would be shaking all over.
Oh,
Like, when you're cold and it's
right.
just like you've got the shivers. It was like that. I would wake up and I would be just like, I can't stop it. And I'm fully conscious and I just couldn't stop it. So I spoke to the neurologist and I also spoke to some mental health people as well, and they thought it might be related to anxiety. So that's why they've given me these, and I've just stuck on these tablets, and I'm almost at 6 months without a seizure. So I'm hoping it continues that way. Because if I can get to a year without having a seizure, I can apply for a driving license, and that's something I've never done.
Oh, that is, that's cool. Especially the types of, medications they have. That can help. Stop.
Yeah,
The seizures and I can't imagine going through that. You know, uh, being in. You know,
it's definitely hard.
it is. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry. You're going through that. I'm really glad it's been 6 months though without a seizure. That is awesome though. That is really
Yeah.
really really awesome.
I'm
Um,
really happy about that as well. My mum's like she's so incredibly happy. It would be nice to if I've got to make sure though, that's what I've got to do. I have like alarms and my partner is very on it. He makes sure I take my tablets and he's like, "Have you taken your tablets? Make sure you take your tablets." Okay. So I try and take them at like 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. So it will
nice.
be relatively soon when I have to kind of take my tablets. So
Nice. That's so awesome. I'm glad. Like I said, I'm glad again that they have something um to help to help ease that. Um,
yeah, it does affect a lot of people. Some of them as well, like sometimes people have photosensitive epilepsy, which is the ones where they put the big warnings at the front of films and video games, like if you
right.
have photosensitive epilepsy. And that can be just a slight flicker of lights can cause people to have problems. I had a bit of an issue when I was working, and the lights above me were like warehouse lights, and
Ah,
they weren't very pleasant, and they would give me headaches. And I had to get like my glasses, so they have the slight color to them because it makes things easier for me to see. I couldn't play Cyberpunk when I first got that. I just could not play it because it was just too much for my eyes and my head to handle. And my glasses aren't getting back on my head. There you go. Never mind. We'll leave them there. But yeah, like there's lots of different types, and I think it affects everybody that has epilepsy different, which is why I try and every now and again raise some money for Epilepsy Action or Epilepsy Society, just because people need to know what to do if somebody has a seizure near them. There's the old thing of you stick a spoon in their mouth. Don't stick a spoon in. Don't try and put your hand in my mouth if I'm having a seizure because I'll bite your finger off. My
right.
jaws will clamp down, and
Oh no.
that's how I've bitten my tongue. Like I've taken literally before I've taken a chunk out of my tongue. It grows back. Your tongue is an amazing muscle. It's insane. But yeah, I bite my tongue and then it goes all purple and sore
Oh
around
no.
it because all the blood rushes to the ends and the
Right.
edges. And then I can't eat anything very well for the next couple of days. Everything tastes a bit weird, and it's just my partner says it's like I'm a child again, like afterwards, because I'll want to do weird stuff. Sometimes I want to get out of the house, other times I just want to wander around, other times I'll go straight to my phone. That's like a comfort one. I'll go to my phone. I want my phone because I want to message people, but I haven't spoken to these people in 5, 6 years.
Right.
It's because my brain's just frazzled, so I have no idea what I'm doing.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear. Sorry, that you went through that.
Oh, it's
Um,
okay.
what kind of advice would you give to somebody, who is going through that, who is having seizures every day, to either their partners, their spouses? What advice would you give to them to help them out?
Um, I think I had to speak to somebody at work actually who had only recently, he was 33, he is 33, and he's only recently been diagnosed with epilepsy. He's lost his job, he's lost his partner, he can't drive anymore, and he was really struggling and he was getting quite upset on the phone. He was teary and he was clearly very, very distressed. And I was telling him that he's got to, with epilepsy, you've got to accept that it is a part of you now. It's something that you're going to have there, but you've got to really stick to it. You've got to, if you're given medication for it and you're told not to do certain things, don't do those things and make sure that you take your medication. But always focus on self-care. So mine are caused by like lack of sleep, exhaustion, just general tiredness, like extreme tiredness really. So I make sure I get plenty of sleep and try not to stress myself out too much. So I say just focus on the good things and the things you enjoy and do those things that you enjoy. One of the things that stops me from it does genuinely stop me from having a seizure sometimes. I say to my partner, I'm feeling uncomfortable. That's the word I use, uncomfortable. And he knows instantly what that is. And he'll be like, right, get in front of the TV. He'll put cushions on the floor. He'll put a controller in my hand and he'll be booting up Overwatch because he knows as soon as if we put Overwatch on, draws my attention, and then it forces me to focus on something, and then I feel better 10, 15 minutes later.
That's so.
So
It's
I
kind of like a trigger object to help your brain get off the fact that it's overwhelmed, and you're
yeah
you're preparing for the seizure, and now you've got controller, and you're playing. I love Overwatch. You cannot go wrong with
yeah
Overwatch, and but it's
no
so
I do love Overwatch.
that's awesome. That's really cool that that if you get if it sounds like if you get your brain on something and focus on something that eases you, it's kind of like a relaxed trigger, a trigger
Yeah.
that reduces that stress in your brain, and where you're preparing for now how long would these seizures last for, typically in the mornings?
Mine can be anywhere from like 2.5 to kind of 4 minutes. I usually say to it, like employers or anybody, if ever I have a seizure and it lasts more than 5 minutes, and they do recommend this on like several of the epilepsy websites and things, more than 5 minutes is when you need to call an ambulance, because that's when it's more than 5 minutes is too long and that shouldn't be happening. They're generally quite quick and they'll happen, and then you'll come round and you'll be all right. But if it's longer and you're struggling to come round from it, then that's when you need like
Right.
emergency medical help. Thankfully, like my partner he's amazing, and I do feel really, really bad. I do feel bad that I have to. I keep saying to myself that I've put this on him, and he's like, "You've not put anything on me. It's part of you." So I just accept that. Um, but he's fantastic. He makes like he'll sit there and stroke my head, and he'll be like, it's okay," and
Oh,
he just tries to reinforce that it's all right, that I'm safe, I'm not gonna get hurt, and that everything's okay. But that's what I would say to people as well if they've got like a spouse or something, um, that they're worried about their reaction. It's just a case of if they really love you and they really care about you, then they'll accept that this is this is you, you know, and that they will have certain responsibilities to make sure that you're safe. I understand as well it's frightening for parents too, for like people that are this. If you, I like, I'm not, I'm very unlikely to have children because if I put my body through too much stress. I mean, 9 months of carrying a child would probably cause me to have some seizures, and I wouldn't want to risk the life of another human being
Right.
by doing that. So I don't think it's likely that I'll ever have children. Um, and I mean, I said I would donate my eggs to somebody else. If somebody wants children, I would donate my eggs and do that. I'd have no problem with that at all. But my partner's happy with not having children. He's like, "It's fine, don't worry. We've got cats."
The little fur babies. That's so awesome. What what a great what a great partner you got. You guys always like I said, you guys are so humble every time I at least pop into the stream. Everybody's so
It's
relaxed.
obviously, yeah, Sneaky Snoo, so
Yep, Mr. Sneaky. That's so yeah, that's so awesome. I think that's I appreciate you getting really deep, and really sharing, your experience personally having the epilepsy, especially those, who struggle with it and don't, um it's really amazing, that you shared, your story today, and what you go through, and you know yeah, I appreciate the advice to give to people out there. I think they're very encouraging. I think you're absolutely right. You're you find the right person, it they'll accept you for you. um
yeah.
so
I
I
just need people need to be more aware of what to do if because you'd be surprised how many people. I think it's at least 1 in 100 people has epilepsy or some form of epilepsy.
Right.
So,
I personally, I don't have epilepsy, but there was a time at work where I experienced another fellow manager, and I got called up to the cage, and she was sitting on the chair, and at first I'm thinking to myself, okay, she's sitting down, and I'm like, what is she doing? But then I'd realized what was going on. She was sitting in the chair, and her whole body was just moving, like up and down uncontrollably. I'm like,
yeah.
she's having a seizure right now, it can be very scary because
Oh,
um
yeah.
you know uh because sometimes what I've experienced, what I've seen seizures is once you're done with them, you seem like you're disoriented for a while. You don't know who's around you.
Yeah.
You lose track of who the person is, and you know so it's seizures, they can definitely be they can very they can be intense, and um
Yeah.
but
You
uh
lose track of time as well. Time is just it's not a concept when I've had that, like,
right.
it could be 6 a.m. when I've had one, and then it's, 10 minutes past 6, and I it feels like it's been 6 to 10 hours since then, and I'm, like, looking at the time, and I'm like, "Wow, did this happen? Yeah, that was, like, 10 minutes ago." And, I have to ask and things, but then I'm just out for the rest of the day. I'll be asleep because 'cause I'll have a banging headache, so I'll take some painkillers, and my brain is just too frazzled to do anything, so I'll sleep for most of the day.
Right, just kind of catch up on the rest and everything.
Yeah.
um but I really appreciate you sharing that with us. I think it's the words you've given for those who have either spouses or partners that are dealing with that. So I really appreciate you going deep with us today, and sharing that. I do want to cover a couple more things in terms of the mental health. As a streamer, we look at depression and anxiety. I think those are two of the biggest factors, especially being a Twitch, as a Twitch streamer, or even in personal life, that people can deal with. That I personally dealt with, is depression and anxiety. How has that affected the way you stream, and how do you overcome, how can you overcome things like that, especially either your Twitch stream or just in life in general?
So, I had to take 3 months off work for my mental health because I had a literal breakdown at work. um, because basically one of the mental health nurses that I work with was helping me out. He knew I was having a tough time, and he'd said, right, I would like to allocate some time to have a chat with you and catch up on everything and make sure you're okay. And unfortunately, because I work at this particular place, I'm not allowed to be treated by the staff there because it's a conflict of interest.
Right.
So he said, maybe ask the manager, the practice manager, if we can do this. And I went and asked her, and she just flat out refused and was quite just just abrupt and very just stoic and no, and it just and then her telling me that I was on the edge. I was very upset, and I just all I wanted to do was talk to this particular nurse because he's a lovely guy. He's absolutely fantastic. And all I wanted to do was talk to him. And she said no. She was like, it's not happening. We've told you before, you're not allowed to do this. And I left for lunch and I walked home crying. I had my phone in my hand and I called the mental health nurse and I told him, they've told me I can't have time to talk to you. And he was like, calm down, it's okay. I got home and I was angry and I was upset that I was not allowed this 15 minutes just to talk to this guy. Um, and then I was at a point where I was angry. I was upset and I was angry and I was stressed out. I was sick of hearing of having I mean, working where I do, you have to deal with patients, with people who have problems with their own health, who are
Right.
concerned about their own health, or family members and stuff. But you would not you would be surprised at the amount of horrible things people say to me on a daily basis.
Oh
I've had people
no.
s I've had people spit at me. I've had people throw things at me. I've had people tell me that I'm incompetent, that I'm withholding care from them, that I am the reason that their loved ones have died, that it's my fault for all of their problems. And it just reached that point where it was too much for me. And that's when I snapped and I came home and I was like, I'm not going back in. It's just not happening. So I went back into work, actually walked back in after lunch, and I got my manager and I sat her down and I said, I need to tell you this, but I said, I can't come back in for the moment because I'm afraid that if I do, I'm going to snap at someone and I'm going to do something that I'm going to regret or that I'm going to get in trouble for. And she said, okay, that's fine. She said, just, go. It's okay. So I left and I ended up 3 months off. I had, some cognitive behavioral therapy. I spoke to a therapist as well, with regards to some of my past trauma and things regarding, like, relationships. I was in a very abusive relationship, um, around kind of 2011, um, and I had a lot of problems. And my partner at the moment, he's left his job because of his mental health. His job was very, very unpleasant for him. They were mean to him. They were really
Oh
not
no.
nice. And so so Sneaky's not working. He is basically I've just said, stop your job. I can be the income. It's fine. Don't worry. Stop working. You focus on being an artist because that's his dream. That's what he wants to do. And he was like, well, I want you to be better as well. So he helped me while I was off as well. We tried, like, doing talking therapies together, doing more things together to try and make us feel better. But I reached a point where I'd had that 3 months. I wasn't getting any more sick pay. I'd run out, and it was either I have no job and no income, or I go back to work. So I was like, I've got to go back. So I went back and they moved me to a different department, and tried to kind of get me doing different things. But again, it's still really hard. I do get people shout at me on the phone and people be really horrible to me pretty much every day. I used to come home from work and I'd just be upset because and everyone says not to let it get to you. Don't let it get to you. They'd say it to any other person. I know they would as well. If they were on the phone to any other person or with any other person, they'd be saying the same thing.
Sure.
But you can't help but feel awful, when someone says to you that you're the reason that their loved one is not with them anymore,
Oh, I can't
or that
imagine. Yeah, I can't
It's
imagine going through that. It's
it's horrible. But it's weird as though because I've made friends through work. Like I've spoken to patients who are around my age, so people that are well, I said I'm 33, but I've spoken to people that are between the ages of like 20 and 40, and they ask me, "How have you coped with your mental health? Like, how do you make yourself feel better?" And I said, "Well, I stream on Twitch. I like play video games, and I've made friends." And they're like, What's your name on there?" And I've told them my name, which I probably shouldn't do because it's my job, and I'm like, promoting myself like that to patients and just saying, "Oh, yeah, I this is what I do."
right.
But I've had people that, they're still patients and they're still in my communities now, and they're like, "I've met you through this and I've seen you." And they're like, if they call up the doctors and I answer, they're like, "Oh, hello, Sophie." I'm like, "Oh, hello."
No.
I recognize their voices now. And it doesn't matter that I can have access to their record. I could look at it if I wanted to, but I'm not I'm not going to do something that's unprofessional and, you know, ridiculously inappropriate and look at what they're doing. If they feel comfortable talking to me and, tell me they want to book an appointment for a particular thing, I'll just book it in and I'll just do it. And I'll find the right place to put it. There you go, it's done, sorted. And they're like, "Oh, thank you." And that's it. So I've made some really good friends through that. And I've advised people to start Twitch. I said, "Do you enjoy video games?" And they're like, "Yeah, I like playing games." "Do you think you could handle being on a camera?" "Yeah, I probably could." I'm like, "Go, just do it. If you want to do it, just do it.
That's incredible.
Don't don't hold back."
That's very true, and that's a great message. I was telling my friends, follow your dreams, I tell people this, and this is something I like preaching all the time. This is something, I've personally experienced within the last month. I always tell people, do what you want that makes you happy. Don't worry about what other people think. Whether it's old
Yeah.
employers, whether it's, friends or anything like that. And people got to remember, it's your life. You got to choose, to live. You live it. It's kind of like that song, that old song that was remade by Grace years ago. It's called "You Don't Own Me." It's you got to do you got to do what you want. You got to enjoy your life, and I know sometimes in these modern days, especially with the pandemic, the COVID, a lot of people having to quarantine. Depression and anxiety, is key. It's
Well, COVID anxiety is a big one. Even I've got stuff like that. I don't like going out too many places with too many people. And I know lots of other people as well that are finding it hard to get out of their house because they don't want to be around loads of people not wearing masks and things now.
yeah. Oh,
I said
absolutely.
masks is going to be the new norm. They do it in Japan. It's just the way they live over there, and I think that's going to kind of bleed over to here. And I think that's going to be us. I think we should do, to be honest.
And we do, down here in the States, well, at least here in Nevada, we're required to wear masks every day. And I know it's hard for some people, and I always tell people, I'm not much of a fan of them. However, I'm a fan about keeping people, healthy. I'm about keeping my family healthy,
Yeah,
especially the seniors, the older people. I'm all about, if I can protect someone. I know a lot of people don't like it. Um,
yeah,
and it's it's hard, and I think making new going out there, making new friends, especially especially on Twitch, getting yourself out there and meeting new people. I think that's a great remedy. um
definitely. Facebook's been really good as well. I found what have I done? I've had Facebook, Instagram, Discord, and obviously through Twitch and stuff has been great for me to meet new people. Oh, and Twitter as well. I started at Twitter because I'd never really used it before. Thought I'll give it a go, and like I quite enjoy it as well now. So I'm like, it's nice. It's nice making new friends. It really is, and it was a nice way to be social when you couldn't be. I mean, being able to host like a movie night on Discord,
oh yeah.
everyone's watching the same thing, and then people are just chatting like it's you're hanging around together, or having as I said, like a coffee morning, with a couple of people that are in a completely different time zone,
Well,
but you get
absolutely.
to just sit and chat with them. I said there's one of my most favorite people, Miss Red 19. She is the absolute best. She's just lovely, and there have been times where I've been really upset, and I've just called her, and she's just we've just ended up being on the phone for an hour and a half, like, and she's over at I can't remember. I think she's in Minnesota, I believe, and like I'm over it, so we're completely different times, but when I end a call with her, I tell her how much I love her,
That's
and she
awesome.
says the same thing, and M Sneaky gets along with her as well, like, they play Magic together, they play Magic Arena together. We play, like, three-player games of Battlefront 2, of Star Wars Battlefront 2, or Overwatch, we'll play Overwatch together, and it's just, I've made some friends through Twitch and this whole pandemic that I would not trade for the absolute world because they're just the greatest people.
That's amazing. I absolutely, I absolutely love it, and I do really, really appreciate you, really, getting, like I said, getting really deep today, and um, letting us know
I always do.
about your epilepsy. I think I think for me, it's very inspiring because, it, for someone, who's I can be shy, from time to time, I think sharing, your story today, I think it's inspiring towards others, to say, hey, we got this. We're all gonna get through this one way or another. It's things are gonna happen, but we're all in this together.
Yeah,
Absolutely all in this. So, I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate you taking the time out today, hang out, um, share a lot of your story, and being able to go over a lot of really important topics and everything. So I really do once again appreciate. It's been awesome hanging out
that's
with you.
okay.
You are.
I'm, like, more than thrilled that you even asked me to do this, so
That's so awesome. You are awesome, Sophie.
and
Um,
you're awesome too.
uh, thank you. Hang tight here just a moment, Sophie. I'll be back in just a moment.
Okie dokie.
What? Guys, thank you so much for tuning into this wonderful episode and seeing this wonderful streamer as she as she shows her amazing thing, her amazing deal there. I thank you guys for tuning in, and we will be back again um, next Monday with another amazing streamer. Until then, everybody, have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys next time on Mornings in Twanman's Den. Take care, everybody, and be safe.